Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Lens Wars, and on this week we got some really weird topics. I can't even talk today. The allergies are so bad, but I didn't even shave. Like I just rolled out of bed, and like I don't think he really cared either today. We're like I'm just coming to work, and nah, man, just put on whatever. So we got some lazy day. We got some pretty cool topics. We're gonna go over why that motherboard's sitting on the desk. We're gonna go over Mac versus PC today. We're gonna go over benefits of using a NAS, and then how to market yourself in this wedding world, because actually we're wedding videographers and photographers, and we're going to give you a little insight on how to make your wedding marketing more successful. So let's get to it. I told y'all to shut up. Oh God. So
never gonna get anything.
We have other people that work at the studio, so we got a cool backdrop behind us, and there's actually other people way over there, and they need to be quiet, and they're not being quiet right now. I mean, you can clearly hear them, and and I've only got 20 minutes to get through this, but
only 20.
We'll just have to deal with the background noise because they just don't know how to shut their face. But anyway, so Jacob, you built your first machine the other day.
I did. I built my first computer.
I mean, it was like a little really wimpy computer. Actually, no, my first computer was a Hackintosh, and it was weird because it was like it was PC parts, but it was in a Mac. And what you built our NAS the other day. So how was that?
It was interesting. Definitely a learning curve. It's just a lot of plugging stuff together. I found that out. You just get the part, you put it in to the case, and then you basically just plug it into the motherboard. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and I see all these people all the time. They want to buy a pre. Actually, okay, so if you probably hear that noise outside, actually we're out in the middle of nowhere. We actually shoot this in New Waverly, Texas, and that's actually, if you go on Google Maps, you'll see there's nothing around us.
Nowhere.
It sucks so bad we're actually on satellite internet right now. That's how bad we are. There's actually probably some tractors bailing some hay out right there. Right now, I'm telling you, these allergies, I can't talk today. No, we'll go into later why we are out in the country and wedding marketing, and actually that's part of our marketing sales tactics. But anyway, back on topic. But no, you're right, because I see a lot of people, they want to buy these pre-built machines. They want to... For one, they want to buy Macs, which I don't get. I used to be a Mac person, and I don't understand why I was ever a Mac person, but it's really not that hard to build a custom PC. Now, we'll get into why people don't want to do it, because I severely screwed up that motherboard yesterday trying to install a custom water loop, because I have to have blue water, and I just had to modify some stuff, but it's really not that bad.
No, in my opinion, if you're gonna buy like a pre-built computer, I mean, well, at least after I realized how easy it is, how actually just easy it is to build your own computer, I wouldn't really recommend anybody getting a pre-built computer unless you just like the way that the case looked. That's pretty much it.
And we actually did a full build log on that computer, which you can find down in the link below. And his build only took a matter of maybe 30 minutes.
Not long.
I mean, it's not a high spec machine, because he built the NAS box that we're using, and I've built NASs before, and they're not too hard. So we put I think it's just a Pentium in there, just on an 1151 socket, with like 16 gigs of RAM, and then we just put a metric butt ton of hard drives in there. It's really it's plug and play. It's really not. So if you're in the market to build yourself a custom PC, he's a newbie, and he got actually everything right the first try. Not everything. Actually, it booted up.
I was a little scared, mainly because of the power, positive, negative, stuff like that. The reset switches, I didn't know if I got those right. But as soon as I pressed that power button, I saw that blue LED, and I was happy.
It actually, first time I built a machine, it didn't even post. It took me like 4 hours to figure out how to get it to post. His posted the very first try, so that's actually a rarity. So, I always recommend, if you're gonna build or if you want a new computer, don't look at, unless you just absolutely have to have Mac. Build your own PC. You can actually, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of my new PC that I built, and it's actually really cool. It's a desk PC, and it's actually really badass. But so that brings us to another thing, because a Mac is always a pre-built machine. You can't build a Mac. You can't go out to your local Micro Center or Fry's and buy parts to build a Mac, because that's just what Mac is. They're Apple. You're buying that system. I mean, you're a Mac guy. You were a Mac guy, so I switched you over, and I was a Mac guy too, about in 2011, 2012. And I mean, what was your experience? Because you're on a high-end editing laptop right now versus that iMac, or not Mac, that MacBook Pro. I mean, that was a $3,300 machine versus a $1,000 machine. I mean, what's your differences on those two machines?
Whenever I was getting into the field, I really wanted a Mac just because I've always looked at Macs and I've always thought that just the build quality, everything about it, it's just like pristine. It's clean, it's pristine, it's very nice and well built. And then I actually opened it up and I got to play with it, and it's very user friendly, just like the iPhone is. It's very user friendly. It makes you use your fingers. It's very like you're holding a piece of paper in a sense. It doesn't feel like you're on a computer. And it's reasonably fast. I wish mine would have been a little bit faster, but especially since I've had this PC. This PC's been like lightning fast. But it depends on what kind of what kind of use you're gonna need it for. Because if you're gonna be editing, then it kind of goes hand in hand. Mac is good, but at the same time, you can't expand the parts. You can't change anything in it. But Windows is just as good, and you can get more stuff if you want. Like, we just watched that Linus Tech Tips video about he took apart the...
Which I highly suggest, Mr. Linus over at Linus Tech Tips. Very good channel.
Very good.
We're doing, I learned a lot from that channel. And we're doing some stuff, but we're focusing on how to put those skills towards video and photo. But I do recommend that channel if y'all ever need some more tech advice. Well, I mean, I know a bunch too, but definitely go check out that channel. What were you saying? I'm sorry, I sidetracked.
No, you're good. But he took apart that iMac, that 5K iMac, and you couldn't put it back together after you took it apart without buying another pack of everything basically, new screws or whatever, new seals, different stuff like that. Like, you can't play with a Mac like you can play with a PC. Even if you buy a pre-built PC, you could take it apart and put different parts that you can expand the RAM.
Which is actually exactly what we did with these machines. We bought some just they were cheaper laptops, but they had a 6700K processor. That's actually a really good quad core. It was actually a desktop processor. It wasn't the Apple, or not the Apple, the laptop version. It was the full desktop version. It had a GTX, I think it was a 960 in there. So it's actually got a decent graphics card, and Adobe needs that graphics acceleration to do its thing. And so it was like $700 or something. And it wasn't, but it had a hard drive in it, like a spinny disk, and we all know spinny disks are just slow for OSs, so we just went and bought, I think, like a $100 SSD, put that thing in there. It's like 250 gigs, put some more RAM, and the RAM was like $50. So we made that laptop extremely fast. So, and I think the Macs are definitely sexier. There's
definitely more of an aesthetic appeal to Mac.
Macs look great. I mean, this laptop I got in front of me it's ugly. Now, some of the gaming laptops are kind of cool, like the Razer Blade. That's really cool. But Macs look great, but they're so underpowered. But it's weird is that Mac is designed to work with underpowered machines. Like, their OS is not that demanding. I've done some benchmarking, some tests on like Jess's iMac, and then some of the Macs that we've used. And the OS is actually designed to handle like super low end like stuff. That's why all their laptops are underpowered. But when it comes to like rendering Adobe, and actually even Final Cut, like if you're editing on Final Cut, Apple software is actually designed for it, and you can actually get some great results on low-powered machines with Final Cut because it's designed to take advantage of some other things. But Final Cut, I don't think Final Cut's very professional in my opinion. It's Final Cut, the old Final Cut definitely was. You never got to play with Final Cut.
Never.
I learned on Adobe and Final Cut, the old one, and but they're just so underpowered. So when I'm running Adobe Premiere on the new MacBook Pros, they're just, unless I want to spend $5,000, they're just not there. And
you don't feel like you have all the power that you can have.
No,
it limits itself so that it works better.
And I mean, there's some elegance too. Like, I know people, they go Mac and they don't want to switch, but like Jess, she works with us over here, and we just built her a new machine. Actually, that build log is her new machine, and I think she's liking her Windows a lot better because it loads. Adobe Lightroom loads so much faster when you optimize it with a Windows machine and actually give it the proper disks it needs. Cause I know Adobe Lightroom needs a scratch disk, a cache disk, it needs a project drive disk, and a couple of these disks like SSDs, just small 120 gigabyte SSDs. And I know on the Mac you can't add that in, so it's a lot faster and it's a lot more intuitive. And plus you can add a really beefy graphics card, which I know Adobe likes a lot. So I don't recommend Mac at all. They look great. If you're just doing regular commuting stuff, cool, looks great, but they're way overpriced.
I mean, like, it just, like a lot of people are afraid to switch over to from Mac to PC as well because they think that everything's on the Apple cloud.
And Windows
but,
10's great.
It's Windows 10 is great. Windows 10 is
8
just about just as easy to use as what is it, OS X 10 now?
Oh yeah, whatever. I don't know what
They're on like 10 or
something.
Mountain Lion.
But
I don't know.
Windows definitely got more user friendly, and they've come a long way since Windows 8 and Windows XP when that was the thing. That was a great one, but then they took Windows 7 was all right, and then Windows 8 was trash.
Yeah.
And that's when I went to Mac, because that Windows was just awful, and then I got hooked on the Mac system, and I don't know. And then I was happy with it because I got used to being slow. But then I got back in the PC when Windows 10 came out, and I was like, oh god, I forgot what I was missing.
See, I thought Windows 7 was it looked great. It was okay. But it was hard to like actually get down to what you wanted to do when you wanted to like tweak things or something like that. I never really got to play with Windows 8, but I did hear a lot of trash about it.
Oh, it was awful.
And then I think Windows 10 is. I think Windows 10 is
great. It's
yeah,
very phenomenal. And plus, and Microsoft's customer service has gotten so much better. But anyway, that's enough on that topic. I can rant on about Mac versus PC all day. I think our next one we're going to talk about is since he built a NAS, which, if anybody doesn't know, it's a network attached storage. So it's just basically a big old hard drive that's attached to a network, and you can attach multiple computers to that network and then access that hard drive from multiple different computers, and you can transfer files easily. You're not having to use the cloud or anything. And it was actually really simple. So he already said it was really easy to use, and we installed Unraid. So there's a few different options out there. Unraid is a paid version of a NAS like server software, and then there's FreeNAS, which is a free one. And I've got a FreeNAS system built in my house, and it was awful getting set up. It was really extremely complicated, and this Unraid thing's been really easy. Actually, I got it set up in 10 minutes, and his computer worked right away. It was strange. Like, he even figured it out without me even really showing how to do it. Just kind of clicked the button, and it was like there.
I don't know anything about I built it, but I don't know anything about setting it up. Like, I don't know anything about Unraid. I know what RAID is, but I don't know anything about like Unraid or anything like that. And so
Unraid's a software name, and RAID is like redundancy.
There's stuff that I don't know.
It's okay.
But being able to like, once he got it figured out and being able to actually get on the network and just being able to like actually see it pop up and transfer files and stuff like that, it's so fun. It's so fast.
And if you've got a team like us, it's really smart to actually have yourself a NAS and maybe get on a 10 gigabit network. That way you could you could actually have everybody editing off that one NAS and not have any external drives. You have your typical SSDs in your computer, but then you could actually edit off of that NAS, and you could have 4 or 5 computers and not even bottleneck even a simple one, as long as you're on a 10 gigabit line with some good quality hard drives in there, which eventually we're going to do. It right now, our setup is, which I suggest any small business, especially if you're in the video market, especially wedding video and photo market, is get yourself a NAS, maybe put like 20 terabytes in there. That's what we did. We put 20 terabytes in there. It's just set on just a 10 gigabit line, which you could do a gigabit line just fine. What we're doing is we upload everything to that server first, and then that's our currently in progress. I guess like those are the clients that we are working on at any particular moment. Like that's the ones we haven't done yet. And then we want to go edit stuff. We actually just drag that folder onto the local drive. We edit it, and then we save the project file back to the NAS. And there's a system, but I would suggest everybody get a NAS. It's actually a lot cheaper than buying those externals. It's so much cheaper.
Yeah, especially if you're doing something like we're doing, to where you just have like a small group of people, but you're all like kind of in an office building. That way you don't have to, like, you could literally just sit at your desk all day. You don't have to get up and move the drive, like take the drive
Everything's
out,
in
give
one
it to
spot.
Somebody. Everything is in one spot, and it's all right in
and you
front
won't
of you.
lose. You won't forget like, oh, what's on this drive, what's on that drive. You can actually just keep adding to the pool, because Unraid uses what's called a data pool. So it's not like a RAID system where sometimes some RAIDs, like I forgot what RAID, but like what RAID you would use, but like some RAID systems you can't actually add to that RAID array. But this one with Unraid, it's just we're using a data pool, so it's not RAID, so it's not really backup of any sort. So what we're actually going to do here next week is actually build another NAS and have that as a backup or a copy of the NAS that's on the network right now. But I forgot where I was going. Man, I'm ADD like no other. Like I saw that there's a door over here that moved. I was like, wait, what? What is it doing? I seriously went blank. Like, what the hell? Something about RAID.
We're talking about the NAS.
Oh yeah, about the NAS. Anyway,
I don't know. We're just kind of flowing.
I don't know, but I would suggest getting a NAS for any small business out there, and that's It's a great investment. And oh no, I was going with it. It's all in one place. It's cheaper. It's more expensive up front, but you will save money in the end. And that's what I could not get over for the longest time. It's like, oh, it's so expensive, but you spend $600 on building the machine. You can even repurpose an old like Dell Inspiron or whatever, like all the old towers that you had like in 2005. You could repurpose those and actually just make yourself like a trash NAS and not spend anything.
You use old hard drives, and it's so much better than using like Google Drive or something like that.
That's slow.
Because then you don't have to pay for additional storage. I mean, you do here, but at the same time, like, it's under you,
and
like,
you don't have
it's
to worry
not
about
under Google.
And you don't have to worry about your internet service provider.
Exactly.
Because you'll definitely have data restrictions. Like right now, we're on Exceed satellite internet, so I am very data restrictive here, and I'm lucky actually. If you're in the market for satellite internet and that's the only option, Exceed internet is actually really good. They give us 30 gigabytes of data, which I know to some of them like, what? That's nothing. But for out here for satellite, that's actually, it's a good chunk, but then it's unlimited after that. It just slows down to like 1 or 2 megabytes per second, which is totally doable for just like working on typical stuff. And if you let files upload at night, it works. So yeah. I would definitely go with them. But then we're going to go to our last topic. Actually, we got 2 more things. So I want to explain why this motherboard is on here. So
all right.
Oh god. I wish we had a video. I should have had you videotape. I'm just gonna hire somebody to like videotape my whole day-to-day job.
Back behind the scenes.
So, if you're a computer nerd like me, I had this idea. Is like I built this built this desk PC. It's all blue. It's all color coded. It's beautiful. It's in a desk. And it's really thin. It's a great thing. It's a conversation starter, and it looks phenomenal. But I was like, oh, this water cooler is just so ugly. I had an H100 i GTX, which if you're a computer nerd like me, it's a really thick all-in-one water cooler, and it's a great option. Keeps your PC running really cool, but it just looks ugly under with all everything that's in there. Because I have this desk looks phenomenal.
Well, you went from actually having like the glass case with all the cables.
Oh
in
yeah,
it, and then you
switched cases so many times.
He put it in the desk, and then he was like, it needs to be bluer. I need blue cables. I need blue this. I need blue SATA connections. I need blue this. And then he put it in, looked at it. It's not blue enough.
And I need more blue. But I was like, it can't be that hard because the H100 GTX, it uses 3/8 like tubing, which I was like, that's standard PC tubing. I can go get PC tubing real quick and just swap it out. It can't be that hard. If I add a reservoir and all this other, all this other stuff on it, it worked until I yanked out the hose because you can't put compression fittings on those things.
And you were trying to figure out which one pumped, which one sucked.
Yeah, I figured that out, but then I plugged in a fan, and I don't know what I did, but it smoked. That board like went up. It smoked. I saw the smoke. I was like,
I just heard
I
was working right next to him. I just heard like a, and then oh, there's a fire! There's a fire! There's a fire!
Like, I smelled it, and I was like, I literally saw it smoking. I was like, oh god! And I've got a 6950X in there, which is a $1,700 processor, and I was like, I just fried my motherboard, I just fried my PC, my CPU, I just fried my graphics card. Actually, no, wait, graphics card was not plugged in at the moment. I was like, so I did save $600, but I was like, oh god. So I had a feeling it was just the motherboard, and I went to Micro Center. Great guys at Micro Center. I spend so much money. Actually, no, not even I spend so much money. I'm in there so much buying odd things. They're like, they know me by like first name. It's weird. But I went there and bought a new motherboard, bought the same one, and it works. Everything worked. It actually works a lot faster, especially with this new BIOS on it. So, if you're going to do a custom water loop, do not modify an all-in-one. I mean, you can, just be careful.
Yeah.
It looks great. And but I bought a custom water loop. Got a SwiftTech pump on there, a SwiftTech reservoir, and I repurposed the old radiator though from the H100. That radiator that comes with it. It's actually a really good radiator, and it does the job just fine. I did repurpose that, so that's what's in there right now. And I got a Thermaltake water block on it, so it looks really good. It's all blue cables, blue water. I'm telling you, these allergies in Texas, they suck.
They suck.
Oh my god! And people up north, like, you're lucky.
He's in the middle of nowhere, so we're literally surrounded by a field.
Oh yeah.
Anytime we walk outside and the wind hits us the wrong way,
it's like all these horny flowers. They're just like, boom, hit you with my horniness.
Sexiness. Oh,
just sexy flowers. But,
sexy flowers.
Oh god. And then, but yeah, so just water cooling. Just stick to either an all-in-one or buy a custom loop. Don't try to modify it all in one because it might turn out cool because there's a lot of forums where it does turn out cool, but it probably won't. And
I wouldn't recommend. After seeing your issues, I wouldn't recommend it.
It's really fun though. I enjoy it, and it was just a lot of fun. last topic, wedding marketing. So he's been in the business how many years now?
About almost
2 years. I've been in the business for about 10 now, and I would say I've got a successful business. I'm really blessed to have this business go as great as it has been and be able to do this show. But I see a lot of people, especially online, and I see on Facebook, they're always struggling with marketing, and I don't think people get it. It's not necessarily. It's weird. Okay, so I'll tell you exactly what I do with my marketing. It's really weird. And this gives me a lot of business, but I treat people like you should treat them. Like, you always go to the first contact. So let's say video. Usually video guys for weddings are the last people to get booked. That's all. So my strategy is become friends with planners. Like, I have no problem with introducing myself to a planner if I meet her, taking him or her out to lunch and just introducing myself. People's like, oh, that's bribery. You're taking them out to lunch, you're bribing them with a nice dinner. I'm like, no, I'm just taking them, just become friends, just know them. I mean,
it's like what drug reps do for hospitals. Like, drug reps will come into hospitals, take everybody out to lunch just so they can get a few people to start marketing their pill.
Yeah, I mean
it's not bribing.
No.
It's just, I don't know.
I mean, it's good business practice because nobody wants to refer somebody and then not have a thank you of some sort. I mean, and people want to. I mean, believe it or not, especially when I need to hire a third party like videographer, if we're completely booked and I need something or something happened, I'm gonna hire somebody that's not a pain to work with, like somebody that's actually really pleasant to be around, than versus somebody that's just really good and they're just a complete a-hole. I mean, that's how I hire people too. I hire people based on their character and how nice they are, because really that's what people look for.
Yeah.
And no matter, I mean, yeah, your marketing's got to be great, and you should spend money on Google ads on this, but your best marketing is word of mouth, and people remember a good product. Don't get me wrong. If your video or photos are crap, they're not going to use you. But if they're like B plus, your clients are going to think the world of it. And then if you were not an asshole and you were actually you were pleasant to be around, you shook their hand and tell them thank you for having, I appreciate your business. Did all the right things. And you treat them like a human being and not a client, and you became friends with them. I guarantee you they're going to get you more business than any kind of ads would, especially, at least when we're talking about wedding marketing.
Yeah. And I mean, how do other businesses get super successful? And I'm talking multi-million-dollar successful. They get connections to other companies, and they make connections, and they use connections with other companies to get ahead. And that's
basically what your planners are. They're just other companies to become friends with. And then people, I see people all the time because they ask me, like, what do you do with your planners? And if they refer you, I mean, I have no problem putting this out there, but if a planner books me a $5,000 wedding and I feel like she does a great job, I have no problem with, people like to think this is bad, but tipping a planner. And that's not bribing. That's just say, hey, I appreciate you. That's like if you did work for somebody else, wouldn't you want to be thanked or having some compensation? Because if you went and that's her job, like, she's working, she doesn't have to refer you.
Yeah, or like a fundraiser for a school, even like you give somebody a pamphlet for a fundraiser, they go out and sell enough stuff, and then you're like, oh my gosh, you sold all this stuff, here's all these prizes.
And it's people think like, oh, well, money, she's gonna always refer you because you pay her. In the end, it's the client's decision to book. Yeah. The client is gonna come to me first, look at my work, and if they like my work, they're going to book me, because they referred me. But if they don't like my work, they're not going to book me. No matter what the planner says, it's the client's decision. Now, if this was a different market, like if this was commercial wise, I don't do that in my commercial work, because that is bribery, and in commercial work there's more money being played. But when it's a client's decision from a wedding planner, it's not the wedding planner's decision, it's the client's decision. I have no problem with if they booked me a wedding. Let's hey, here's $50. It's nothing big. I'm not paying big bucks, but here's a thank you. Like, it's a letter. Usually I always I'm big into handwritten letters. I always like to give my planners a handwritten letter of appreciation and just a little tip in there, even if it's a gift card to somewhere, just to say thank you, because that's who keeps me in business. And we do the majority of our sales actually through planners. And then venues are another good thing to hit up. There's nothing wrong with try to meet up with a wedding venue owner and just take them out to lunch and say, hey, I'd love to, just how do I make your business more successful while you help me? Like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And they always want promotion, this and that, but don't ever ask them, oh, hey, can I be on your vendor list? Show them that you want to be on their vendor list. Don't ever ask. Show them with actions. Ask them with your actions, and not and not anything else. I could preach all day about business stuff because there's just so many people that they literally piss me off when they're talking about business, and I'm all about team. I'm all about having it's a teamwork. It's not me. It's not I. It's a team. And then I'd rather be the company versus the guy to go to here at our studio. But
two heads are better than one.
Two heads are better than one. You get more accomplished. But marketing. If you took anything away from this, go to your planners, take them out to lunch. Just don't be a fancy, like it could be Chick-fil-A or whatever. Take them out to lunch. Get to know them. Become friends with them. People will hire friends versus coworkers. I'd hire a friend any day versus a coworker. Why do you think your friends ask you to shoot their wedding? Because you're a friend and not anything else. So.
And it gives more depth into who that person is, because you can look at somebody's work and you can't tell what kind of person they are by what kind of work they have. I mean, they could be anybody, like literally anybody under the sun. But whenever you get connected to a coordinator and you show them you are a person, like how we've been doing the behind the scenes stuff to show other people that we are actual people, it gives more depth to the decision in a sense. They see that there's actually like cool guys that are doing really good work, and they can see the work and they can see who we are, and they can see. Actually,
that's another good thing. I'm glad you brought that point. We do behind the scenes videos of a lot of our weddings. That's a really good thing to do. Hire somebody, pay just a new shooter just to shoot you filming or photographing your wedding, and that's a great marketing tool. If you can show a client that does not know you, how you work, how you are in the field, you'll book so much more because your client feels like they know you. And then one more thing in marketing is be different. Out here at actually I'm with a company called Wedding Works right now. We're about to merge into a different company. But we built a studio. Me and this guy, we built a 1,400 square foot studio. Actually, the one we're shooting in right now, built it by hand. And but the reason we built it out here is because there's a big tree out there, and this is the sole reason why I came out here, because I had this idea last year to bring my clients in when their video's done. We bring them out here and we show them their final film, photo, or video under this tree, and they have a nice date, and it's been very successful. It's just a date. It's a date night, and that's how we do it. We hand deliver all of our stuff now. We don't do anything online. Hand deliver it, and we've got. I mean, I'll be the first one to say, I've made some business mistakes, and I've learned the hard way, and I finally figured out, be personal with your clients. That's the best thing you could ever do, my old clients might be watching this right now, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, I know, I made mistakes, but I'm man enough to say, hey, I've made mistakes, and I hope other people can learn from my mistakes. But be different, and actually go to our website. You can actually check out what we're doing here different at Wedding Work Studios, and I think that's it for today. Got anything else to add?
Like you were saying, don't just be different with your work, but be different with
who you are as a person.
Who you are as a person. Like, you don't want to be like just any other photographer. You want to make yourself known, any way that you can.
And don't use another tip. Think of a cool name. Don't just put your name and put photography at the end or studios. Have a very marketable name.
Something that you can sell. You can't sell a name, because then they just look like they're looking at a sheet with a bunch of people's names on it. Like
SEO's not me. It's not that big anymore. I mean, it's still very big, but have a name that's SEO friendly. And we're getting off topic. That's a topic for next week. But anyway, you can go to our website. Everything for that is a link down in the bottom. You can check us out, and we'll be back here every week with a new episode of Awesome Sauce from Lynn's Wars. Think we're good. Stay PC, and think we'll be. I'm going to take some allergy medicine. I'm out of here.
Be different.